Welcome to the Horror Unmasked podcast,
where we unmask the monsters
and explore the lore.
I'm Amber.
And I'm Lily, and today we will be dissecting
Scream.
Let's answer the phone.
The story begins in 1996 in a small town in Woodsboro, California.
Is that a real place?
I think so, yeah.
I
it
literally
is.
don't even
Yeah.
know.
I think it's a real place, yeah. Alone in her house, a teenage girl named Casey gets ready to watch a movie when she receives a phone call from an unknown number. At first, it seems like an innocent prank that soon turns deadly when the person on the other end reveals that the girl's boyfriend is tied up on the back porch and is gutted in front of her.
Oof.
The
She
girl,
didn't even, tell the guy that she had a boyfriend.
No.
So honestly,
I mean, she did.
At the end.
At the end,
She was like,
yeah.
I don't have a boyfriend. And then she's like, my boyfriend's going to come
And fuck you up.
Yep. And he was all like, you just told me you don't have a boyfriend.
Yeah.
And that's about to be true in like 5 seconds.
Yeah,
So-
facts. The girl tries to get away, but right as her parents come home, she is stabbed to death and hung on the tree next to the house by someone in a ghost face mask.
Bum, bum, bum.
The next day, the entire town knows about the murder of the two high schoolers, including Sydney, who just lost her mom to murder the year before, supposedly by a man who is already in jail for his crime.
Womp womp. Reporters swarm the school trying to get more information on what happened. Since Sydney is already linked to one murder, reporter Gail Weathers tries to ask her more questions, but gets decked in the face after it is revealed that she wrote a book about the death of Sydney's mom, profiting off of her pain.
Look, I get that in every movie, they just keep trying to redeem Gail. And there was a time...
And then they fuck it up!
Then there,
over and over again.
There was a time where there was a chance, but
Yeah.
even in the current movie, she's still not a redeemable character because she still goes back to her roots every time.
Facts. One night, Sydney gets a call and is attacked by Ghostface. She runs upstairs to escape, locking herself in her bedroom. Suddenly, Sydney's boyfriend Billy shows up, seeming to scare the killer away.
Too convenient.
Right.
Immediately, like, it's you. Immediately, it's just, you're too conveniently timed.
Yep. Until a phone falls from his pocket, making Sydney believe that he is the killer. Good instinct, girl.
I know, right?
Sorry, spoiler. Billy is taken into custody until the police can prove that he wasn't the one who called Sydney.
Spoiler warning. Skip ahead. Meanwhile, the school has been shut down for the safety of the staff and students, causing Stu to have a house party with his parents while his parents are gone.
How are your parents going to be gone in the middle of murders? Come on.
You know, he's got a nice-ass house. His family's clearly rich.
Yeah. When I'm stupid rich
Yeah.
and I have children, I'm not going to be that parent that's gone on business trips all the time, leaving my children, to say fuck off, because I'm going to get rich, then have children, and make time for those children. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, it wasn't the mindset of the time. For those people, it just wasn't how it worked. Man.
I mean, unless my kid is like, fuck off.
Which Stu might have been one of those kids.
He might have been. Obviously, you don't want to suffocate your kids.
No. To suffocate your children is the fastest way to lose your children.
Yep. Anyway.
At the party, Gail Weathers arrives with her cameraman and tries to sneak a camera into the house, which is made easier when Deputy Dewey, brother of Sydney's best friend, Tatum, brings her inside. When Tatum goes into the garage to get more beers, she is brutally murdered by Ghostface. As she tries to escape through the garage dog door, which is the stupidest... Why?
Yep.
Which is lifted, and she is crushed to death. Because somehow she gets stuck. I'm sorry, if you can make it that way far in, you weren't that far in. You're telling me that either your hips or your tits are too big for you to get back the fuck out?
Right. Which is what
She
they
was
made it
not
seem
that
like.
far out.
No.
Her tits were literally the only thing. I'm like, are you telling me that her tits are so big that she could not come back through the dog door? She wouldn't have made it through the dog door if they were that big.
Facts. She was struggling. I was like, all right,
Like,
girl.
she was on the floor for quite a bit of time. She could have easily just went, whoop.
It makes me want to do like an experiment.
A very dangerous experiment.
A little bit. A little bit. Because I don't think that would kill you, but whatever.
You would deeply get injured, yeah.
Yeah.
You would be deeply hurt.
Deeply injured, but I don't think it would kill anyone. Anyway.
Anyway.
Yeah, who are they? Mythbusters?
Yeah, Mythbusters.
Bust that.
Alrighty. So, Billy has been released from jail and comes to the party when he and Sid share an intimate moment, taking their relationship to the next level.
Ba-bam!
Which also is just stupid.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like, just
Yeah.
the emotional,
She
like,
let
intensity.
him peer pressure her.
For fucking real. Even though he kept
She
being like,
did.
well, I'll go as fast as you want, but, like, let's go. You know, like, come on, dude.
Because it had been a year, which, okay, I guess he was getting a little antsy.
I know, but she's also dealing with the murder of her mother.
And he was like, you gotta suck it the fuck up.
The
Like,
fact
let it go.
That he thought he had the right to be like, you have to get over it.
After she literally just thought he was a murderer.
I'm sorry. You can shut the fuck up. I can mourn my mother for as long as I want.
need to. That's my mom.
Like,
no matter
for
what she
fucking
did
real?
in society, no matter who she was, like, that's my mother.
Yeah, no matter what, like, because in her case, there's rumors and shit about her mother. But the
Yeah.
reality of the situation is, I'm sorry, but that's still her mom. She's allowed
Yeah.
to mourn for however fucking long she
Exactly.
wants. Wild shit, man.
I forgot to add this part, but Dewey takes Gail down the street because he got a lead on something, and when they get there, it's Sydney's dad's car. And then they all get knocked the fuck out.
Yeah.
They all get knocked out.
Yeah.
But suddenly Ghostface arrives after they do the hanky-panky
Yeah.
and attacks Billy, while Sydney manages to get away. Later, Sydney finds Billy still alive when Stu shows up, and they both reveal that they are the killers.
Yup.
What? Okay. They confess to Sydney that they also killed her mother,
Uh-huh.
framing the man that was put in jail. It is then revealed that the killers have kidnapped Sydney's father, planning to frame him for the rest of the murders, when Sydney manages to escape and fight back. Crazy. Gail and another friend, Randy, show up to help. Stu dies from his injuries that were only supposed to look like he'd been attacked.
Yeah, because
Dumbass.
Billy took it too far. Because
Yeah.
they are still psychopaths.
Yeah. While the group, the rest of them, shoot Billy in the head, knock him down, shoot Billy in the head. Then the cops show up to take care of the victims as Gail Weathers steps in to get another moment to shine. And all seems well.
The end. Yeah. Again, this is probably one of our favorite franchises that we've got on this group of stuff. We really enjoy the Scream series of films.
I agree. I'm not gonna lie though. I had never seen them up until last October.
I mean,
Because I was like, fuck it. I have never seen these. It's spooky season. Let's go.
I feel like I've seen the first Scream a while ago, like a long time ago. But it had been so long that, like, I'm talking about like when I used to live in the house long ago.
Yeah. I figured that.
But the rest of them was only more recently, and I actually got to. What's funny is I saw 5. I saw the 5th one. Went into the theaters to watch the 6th one. And was like, I don't know who the fuck that person is because I haven't actually watched the rest of these movies yet. And then I watched them and I was like, oh, that makes sense
Which
now.
person? Are you Kirby?
Kirby, yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know. It's the classic. This is an important character from a previous
I
film.
bet you were just like
that moment, and I was like, I don't know who you are, but I know you're important to the rest. You were in one of these other movies, and
I
that
bet
I was
you
not
were
there
like, yo, it's the Until Dawn girl. What's she doing here?
for. I know, right?
Which they're already remastering.
Yes, they are remastering. We saw it in the State of Play,
Like, what the fuck?
and it's been how many years?
8.
Mm-hmm.
Which is mind blowing.
A decade.
It feels like it came out like 3 years ago, maybe most.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Well, this movie was released December 20th,
Mm-hmm.
1996.
Which is a very odd
A year
time.
after I was born.
Oh yeah. But I think December is such an odd time, especially like right next to Christmas.
Yeah, it makes it feel like it's a Christmas movie when it's definitely not.
Definitely not.
The director is Wes Craven,
Mm-hmm.
distributed by Dimension Films. Now, I have their box office. What was their budget?
Their budget was $15 million.
Their box office was $173 million.
Yeah.
So that was actually pretty good for
Mhm. They did really
what
good.
their stuff was, you know?
Agreed. And I know exactly why it did so well.
You know why it did so well.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's more lore based.
That'll be interesting to hear about
Uh-huh.
when we get there.
Uh-huh. The runtime is almost 2 hours long. I was not expecting it to be that because it doesn't
feel like it.
It's
Mm-mm.
very fast paced.
But it's not fast paced in the sense that it feels like things are happening too quickly.
No.
It feels like it's like got a really a really good pace to it. Like
Yeah.
there's no like dead moments.
Correct.
Huh.
Okay, that's a lie. There are dead moments. What?
But yeah, I would have never pegged it to be that long.
Yeah, so it's an hour 51. It got an 81% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
Pretty good, pretty good.
Yeah.
I'd put it higher
I'd
personally.
put it higher too, yeah.
We've got the main cast, which is honestly a pretty good list.
Yeah, it's a pretty decent list of people.
We've got Neve Campbell as Sydney Prescott. Cindy. Courtney Cox as Gail Weathers. What? Friend shout out. David Arquette as Dewey. Skeet Ulrich as Billy Loomis.
Mm-hmm.
Matthew Lillard as Stu Macher. Rose McGowan as Tatum. And then, of course, I added Drew Barrymore as Casey because she's iconic.
And you have James Kennedy as Randy.
No, I did not. I forgot him.
Yeah, we got James
He's important later, so yeah.
Kennedy as Randy.
He doesn't really show up a whole lot in this movie, but
He is.
I never mentioned him in the summary, so.
You mentioned him once. He's actually a very important character to the overarching story
Yes.
of all of the movies because there has to always be someone like him in all of the movies.
It's a horror movie rule.
It's a movie rule. Literally, his whole job is he explains, okay, this is what you do and don't do in a horror movie. These are the likely suspects. This is what this is. This is what that is.
And it's up to you to
Yeah.
decipher that as you will.
The whole point is that in every single one of the movies, which you will come to find out, there's at least someone in the group or around the group that has a little bit of this mentality or is straight up like this. In the new movies, we have a 100% there is someone like this.
Yeah.
There is a predecessor for Randy, thankfully, in the newer movies. But I think there's maybe one movie that doesn't have someone like Randy in it. And I think that's the one with Kirby.
I think you're right.
Because she gets more detective-y versus. So, but yeah.
Even though she is kind of like his replacement.
Yeah, which is why it was like, but she kind of does it less
Yeah.
horror movie. Like she does reference it, but it's definitely different. It feels different.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so you want to go first? Me go first?
Go ahead.
Alrighty. Fucking weirdo.
That's staying in.
Now it is. Now it is.
I'm good. I'm okay, guys. Thanks for asking.
All right. All right.
Because I know you did.
The renowned KNB Special Effects House was brought in to help.
What?
The fuck? Making me repeat myself. What the fuck? Please pay attention.
No, I was trying to make a funny joke. It didn't land.
No, it didn't. No, it didn't.
I think I'm funny.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you do. Mm-hmm.
That's all that matters, right?
You know, sometimes, yeah, that is all that matters. If you can give yourself a little laugh, it's all that matters.
We're born alone, we die alone.
You know? You know.
I don't know.
Anyway.
You give me food, I get giggly.
It's so fucking weird.
I don't know.
She's in a world, guys. She's in her own little world right now. She had some fries, and now she's high. So, I don't know how it happened, but it did.
It's the Chick-fil-A sauce, my guy.
You know?
It's whatever they put in that. Crack.
You know? Sometimes you'd be surprised.
Uh-oh.
Anyway, so the renowned K&B Special Effects House was brought in to help bring to life the Scream script.
Mm-hmm.
One of the bigger jobs was to create a life-size dummy of Drew Barrymore.
Which, honestly, they didn't really do that great. Sorry, what?
Well, of the time. The effects team...
Fair enough, they didn't have HD.
Yeah. The effects team also had to decide on a way to hang the dummy from a tree since the Scream script wasn't too specific.
I think they absolutely could have just hung Drew Barrymore up there.
Yeah, I feel like they could have probably done that.
Like, tie something around her waist, give her a little harness,
Yeah.
and then make it look like she's being hung by whatever.
Yeah. And it's kind of interesting to see the step-by-step creation of like the dummy and everything.
Yeah.
'Cause it's obviously it starts off as like obviously silicone and things like that, and then they paint it and add on the layers. But yeah, they could have possibly just used the actual actress.
Mm-hmm.
So, the effects team was also involved in what the killer would actually look like. So the script referred to the killer as a white ghost figure. So they played with the idea of a killer dressed in white.
Okay.
But
What they landed on was pretty good because it makes them easier to like slink in the shadows
Yeah.
or whatever.
When it was decided that the killer would be scariest if it was in black, the effects team drew sketches of possible masks and even created one of their own. But in the end, Wes Craven chose the mask used in the film after he discovered it while scouting 4 locations. So that's kind of interesting that he found that. And I'll mention it later in my notes and everything. So Scream itself broke a lot of rules of the horror genre, but it also attempted to trick audiences by casting Drew Barrymore as Casey Becker
Yes.
and using her predominantly in the advertising of the film. Initially, Barrymore was signed on to play the movie's lead, Sidney Prescott. But Barrymore changed her mind and decided she would rather take on the role of Casey, fulfilling the screenwriter Kevin Williamson's hopes of having a big-name actor take on the part. Because from that point on in the movie, and eventually in the franchise, fans knew that any of their beloved characters could be killed at any time.
Yeah. Yep.
Because she was essentially the face on the poster. She was
yeah.
what everybody thought was the main character.
When you go look up Scream, like there's a movie poster that just
literally is her face. And the idea is that your favorite character, the main character, the one that you think is the main character,
the one that you already know from previous movies because she's
famous,
huge,
can die.
Yeah.
Can just die. So it adds that unpredictability to it.
Because you really think she's gonna get away.
You do. The thing is you know that she won't, because the second he stabbed her in the neck,
Yeah.
that was it removed her ability to
Breathe.
vocalize.
That. Yeah, because she tried to scream for her mom, and her mom just like kept walking
because they
through
couldn't
the door.
hear her.
Yeah.
Yeah. So these are actually kind of interesting. So Matthew Lillard started out actually auditioning for the role of Billy Loomis.
Love that guy.
I know. I love Matthew Lillard.
Lillard.
He's sweetie patoot, and I would love to meet him one day.
Yes.
But yeah, he actually started out going for the role of Billy Loomis, and
No.
like the co-star David Arquette, ended up auditioning for another character altogether. So
Wait, what did David Arquette audition for?
So apparently this had happened before. So according to Lillard, the casting director, Lisa Beach, asked him to come back to try for the role of Stu Macker. Wes Craven was present for the audition, and Lillard remembers he actually gave it to him in the room,
Whoa.
and that had never happened before to him.
Aw. Well, he deserved it. He did such a good
He's
job.
such a good job. So
Because he's like a psychotic dumbass.
Yeah.
And it's great.
yeah, he has such a very vastly different personality
Approach to like.
than Billy does.
Yeah.
Because Billy is intense with purpose.
And he's dark and he's.
Whereas Stu feels more like, I'm doing this for shits and giggles. Which
Which
almost
makes it
is
worse,
scarier.
yeah.
Because he's literally just doing it for fun. Whereas Billy has a reason or
Yeah.
his reasons behind why he's doing it. So that's definitely an interesting
I
one.
never put that in the summary.
Oh, yeah. Fucking, do you want to go for it?
Sure.
Yeah.
So Billy killed Sydney's mom because Sydney's mom was sleeping with his dad and made him leave.
Yeah, the parents separated because
Or it made his mom leave.
Yeah.
Like it made his mom
Oh yeah.
like break up with his dad.
Yeah.
So he was pissed.
So he decided to kill her mom, you know,
Yeah, as you do,
as you do.
I guess.
But I guess so, because Beach went on to say that Lillard, Jamie Kennedy, and Skeet Ulrich were also good in their respective
Which is-
auditions that
I
they
love
blew her
Skeet.
away.
But what the hell, Skeet?
I know, right?
Skeet.
Why is your name Skeet?
Love him. He's
What is
great.
with your last name, my dude? For real.
I don't know.
So, okay. Getting back onto Drew Barrymore.
Yes.
So she worked 5 days to film her 15 minutes of the film.
It's 15 minutes.
15 minutes.
It feels like it's like 5.
Oh, yeah. Squeezing all of the screaming, hyperventilating, and terror into a short period of time.
Oh, I'm sure that girl was tired.
This is also going to be hilarious.
What?
While on this tight schedule, the prop master reportedly forgot to unplug the iconic white phone
Oh, yeah.
before filming her scenes, in which her character desperately attempts to contact 911
Yeah.
to save her from Ghostface. This led to Barrymore dialing 911 on the prop phone and accidentally calling the real thing,
Oh, shit.
complete with her screams of pain and fear before disconnecting. When director Wes Craven cut, during one of the takes, the police called Barrymore's phone back to check on the calls
Oh, my God.
that sounded like a woman actually fighting for her life.
Oh, my gosh.
This finally clued the prop master in, and he disconnected the phone.
Yeah, finally clued him in. Yeah. If that didn't clue him in, nothing would have.
A fucking wild day.
No,
at
the police station.
just to get the call and be like, what the fuck? It's gone. Call her back. What's happening?
Call her back. I hope she's okay. Like, we gotta save her. We gotta go. Gear up, guys.
That was a movie set.
No, yeah.
That was a movie set, guys. I truly believe someone was dying.
Wow.
Means they're good actors.
Yeah. Yep.
For facts. So, in an oral history published by The Ringer, executive producer Marianne Maddalena spoke about finding the iconic ghost face mask
Yes.
worn by franchise's maniculars. While looking for locations,
What was that word?
What?
Many
Many
killers.
killers. Many killers.
Maniculars.
Many killers.
Maniculars.
Now it's maniculars. While looking for locations, one homeowner allowed the crew inside to look around. And sitting in a boy's room in the house was the ghost face mask with white material attached to it.
Oh.
So Wes Craven loved the mask, but the studio wanted to own the ghost face mask and the costume so they could sell it and make money from the likeness.
It makes sense. It's
Yeah.
made bajillion dollars.
So the studio had the special effects legend Greg Nicotero
Nicotero!
and Bob Kirkman's company attempt to create a new mask for the film. But Craven didn't like it at all. And finally, the studio gave in to the director and a new horror icon was born.
So the company that created the original one that he liked gave it to them.
Yeah.
They
The
didn't
studio
they didn't
gave-
pay for it at
yeah.
all?
The studio gave in to the director.
Oh, okay. They probably got a cut at least.
Oh,
little
yeah,
bit,
almost
'cause it's
guarantee.
so iconic.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Like, I had never seen Scream, but I have
You knew the
obviously
face.
always
Yeah.
known that is Ghostface.
yeah. Yeah.
Always.
Yeah. Even if you're not a horror person, the iconic characters, you roughly know who they are.
Yeah.
But Kevin Williamson, who wrote the script for Scream, did it in only 3 days. After a middle of the...
Hold on. That didn't sink in. You said what?
Kevin Williamson wrote the script for Scream in only 3 days.
Damn.
Yeah. After a middle of the night burst
So
of
that's
inspiration.
why when all the college professors are like, I don't want to hear shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
He's why. Thanks, Williamson. Fuck you.
You wrote a movie in 3 days. How dare you?
Yeah. How dare you be so goddamn
Efficient.
talented?
Well, also inspired.
That as well.
So
Oh, and I've got some inspiration for you. Boy, do I.
So
It's juicy.
after a middle of the night burst of inspiration following a spooky evening. Williamson spent the next 3 days in a writing frenzy after watching a Barbara Walters special on murder.
Yeah.
Williamson lived the opening scene of Scream after
Yes.
hearing a noise and noticing a window open in the living room. And he was spooked as he was. He went to the kitchen and grabbed a butcher knife and
As
a
we all
phone
do.
before calling a friend. He went to bed with nightmares and woke up in the middle of the night with inspiration.
Jesus.
So literally, he was watching a murder show, got scared, went to bed, woke up with the script of Scream.
Just wrote it in 3 days. Like, that means he didn't even think about it or plan it. He just wrote
No,
that
he
shit.
woke up and was like, I must write.
I must write. Like, I've got it all in my brain, scene by scene.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah. Yeah.
I fucking wish.
Oh, yeah.
I wish.
Now, roughly 50 gallons of blood
Oh my God.
were used in the production of Scream.
Happy summer of blood, y'all.
Yeah, I know, right? So it's a mixture of corn syrup and red food dye. The special effects team was kept busy creating the gory scenes we all know and love today. 50 gallons of blood.
It's insane.
That just feels like so much for what we saw. It just feels like a lot. But also there was a lot of gore, a lot of blood.
I feel like it mostly would have been in that first scene.
I feel like it was in that scene and also when
The van.
the cameraman,
Yeah.
he got.
The cameraman got caught, by the way, guys.
Yeah, yeah.
And then he was on the roof of the van.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
And
yeah.
just blood all over the windshield.
Yeah.
How did he get him up there? Oh, right, there's two.
There's two of them, yeah. So, okay. During our climactical scenes, during the scene where Billy Loomis gets stabbed with an umbrella, when she stabs him, his cries of pain were real ones. So there's
So
one
she
stab and then
actually
there's
got
a
him?
second one.
Uh-huh.
So as a child, actor Skeet Ulrich had open heart surgery, and despite wearing a protective vest and adding a retractable tip on the umbrella,
Oh my gosh.
the second stab from the umbrella hit him in his old surgery wound.
Oh my gosh.
So, but Craven decided to keep that take in because his cries of pain were real.
Were real, yeah.
So when we're watching that, he's actually in pain on the second stab.
Poor baby.
Because he's actually being hit in an actual wound.
Oh,
And I'm like, damn.
that's so sad though.
Damn.
Oh.
Because I did
Is
these
he okay?
notes and then we watched it. And then I
Was
was
he
like,
injured at all?
mm-mm.
Okay.
It just it just got him, dude. It just got him.
Damn.
So that's the end of my notes.
Ooh.
But I do, like I've done before, I have our little synopsises of the other films, and we'll get to that when we're done with yours.
Yes.
So what you got for me?
Buckle up. It's a fucking doozy.
Well, shit.
Okay. This week, I'm just going to talk about the inspiration, a little bit more about Kevin Williamson's inspiration.
Yeah.
So I did have the little tidbit about,
His little spook.
yeah, he was house sitting for a friend, but obviously he was also a really big fan of Halloween. And he said that this film was like his love letter to Halloween, and that
I can see that.
and it made him want to be a screenwriter. Like
Oh,
the Halloween series made him want to be a screenwriter.
Hell yeah. I love Halloween.
So that's awesome. But the real inspiration comes from a real life event
Not surprised.
inspired by a true event. Obviously, it's nothing like the plot of Scream, really.
Creative liberties.
Yes, but he used this instance to create the screenplay, which originally revolves around college students and like the media frenzy that happened for it. So
Am I thinking about what I'm thinking about?
you probably are. It's very well known.
The second you said college frenzy, I was like,
So Scream is inspired by Danny Rolling, a murderer from 1990, nicknamed the Gainesville Ripper.
Yeah. Yep.
After killing 5 students in 4 days
Yep.
in Gainesville, Florida.
Yep.
Yay. My place of birth.
Yep.
Lovely. We love to see it.
Yep.
Okay. All right, let's get into it. I have his whole life story. It's crazy. It's nuts. So, Danny Harold Rolling was born on May 26 in 1954 to a Claudia and James Rolling in Shreveport, Louisiana. So, Danny's father never wanted kids,
Yeah.
which ultimately made him very abusive to his family, of
Yep.
course. Very, very abusive. To the point where the first time Danny's father beat him was when he was 1 year old
Yeah.
because he didn't crawl properly.
Yeah. His dad was psychotic.
That's a psycho dude who was correct about should never have kids.
Hey guys, if you just don't want children, just don't have them.
Just don't have them.
Don't listen to anybody else's like peer pressures and
And
shit.
be like, oh, you have to have the baby.
no, you
no,
don't.
you don't. No, you don't.
No, you don't.
No. That is not true. Unless you're under like specific circumstances. But whatever.
But no,
Ultimately,
no one should be forced to
Forced-
have a child.
no.
Regardless of circumstance.
Because that puts that kid in a very unfortunate situation,
Yeah.
like Danny. However, this does not in any way condone Danny's actions.
No.
However, his father did beat him at 1 year old.
Yeah. It just explains as to the ramping.
He probably got a big old brain injury. Messed him up for the rest of his life. So, and then in the 3rd grade, he failed. He failed the 3rd grade because he was absent too much due to illness. I'm going to say that's quote.
Heavy quote illness.
I'm going to guess that. But his
where
counts
it really was abuse.
abuse, and he just was recovering from that. So, But it was to the point where his counselors described him as suffering from an inferiority complex with aggressive tendencies and poor impulse control.
Yeah, I fucking wonder why.
I wonder why. Later in life, Danny picked up music to deal with the abuse from his father. But after his mom tried to kill herself, he then picked up drugs and alcohol.
Great.
So she slit her wrists, tried to kill herself. It didn't work.
I swear to God.
I don't know.
Look, I have a very, very intense viewpoint towards people who are suicidal.
No, me too.
But like, guys, come the fuck on. Go get real help. Because it's not fucking worth it.
No, because you doing that to your family,
yeah,
probably then makes them want to do that later. You know what I mean?
For me, and this might be a more harsher view, it's soft attention seeky. And I'm like, look, if you really want help, you'd be seeking help. I understand that there's some situations where it is difficult to seek help.
Because you just don't give a shit about anything.
Yes. I get that.
Do not care. But if you're going to try and fail, if you're going to kill yourself, you're not going to fail at that.
Yeah. And that's the unfortunate truth.
Yeah.
If you mean it,
you won't fail.
There's no mistakes.
If you don't mean it, you're hesitant. And that is that section of hesitation where you should be seeking the help.
Yeah. When you hesitate and you realize, that's the point.
I mean, unless she really did try and just didn't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Sounds like her life was trash. So
yeah, with a man that didn't want children, with a child that was being so brutally beat.
They didn't just have one; they had two.
Oh fuck, I forgot about that.
He had a brother.
Oh yeah,
a younger brother.
I'm trying to remember. Oh, yeah. There's a lot of bad shit going on in this family.
So, after all that, all of the loveliness that he's endured so far.
Yeah.
At 14, Danny was caught looking into his neighbor's daughter's room. And obviously got beat for it.
Yeah.
Hello. Don't do that. Don't do that.
But it's also very classic 14-year-old boy.
Yeah.
It's very classic 14-year-old boy, but also don't do that.
But also very creepy. Like if it's your neighbor and like you go. Because in my brain, it's not like he's watching from his window. To me, he like went outside to the neighbors and like looked through her window. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's a peeping Tom.
Yeah. You're weird if you do. I mean,
people do it anyway.
Everyone might have a little voyeur in them, but
yeah.
No. Consent is key.
Yeah.
Thank you. So, after all of that, he enlisted.
As they always do.
They always do.
And then, I'm assuming, got kicked out. As they always do.
It's the article I read said that he quit after doing too much acid.
You know?
So, I mean, okay, doing acid and being in the army,
not a good
mix.
But also, what was he? The thing is it depends on what you're doing in the army.
That's true.
If you're in active combat, yeah, don't do that.
Don't do that.
But if you're just like at the barracks, just like chilling out, fucking hanging out, like no.
I literally have no clue. I have no idea.
Because I know that there are some people who are part of the military that don't ever see action or combat. And I'm like, this is almost most of the time, a lot of these serial killers are in those positions. Very rarely do they end up in actual moments of combat. There are some that do.
Yeah.
And they're scary.
Oh, yeah.
And they get discharged for other reasons. But yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know, man. After he got discharged, he got married at the age of 19. But 4 years later, they divorced because he threatened to kill her.
Shocker.
Whoa. Wild. So.
That girl was smart. She fucking dipped. She was like, nope.
Yeah. Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
My life is more important than you.
So then after they got divorced, trigger warning, Danny then raped a woman that looked like his wife.
It sounds about right. A lot of serial killers will go after people who look similar to people that they've been in love with or they've been in relationships with. Sometimes they'll just fuck around with people who are just really don't deserve it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of unfortunates all up in that mess of shit.
For sure. That same year, he ended up killing a woman in a car accident. Now, the article I read said this troubled him further, but I don't think that's what happened. I don't think that troubled him further. I'm pretty sure he enjoyed that. Like,
yeah.
Hello.
He just got worse.
Yes, probably. I mean, you never know. Maybe he hit his head even more and just really fucked him up.
Yeah.
So.
Because I'm assuming, as the serial killer trifecta, you know what the serial killer trifecta is, yes? It
Lay
is
it out.
Head trauma or some sort of injury.
Abuse.
Bedwetting.
That, yeah, I do know that.
And animal mutilations.
Oh, yeah, I do. I know those things.
Are your trifectas. And I'm not surprised that he definitely had all those.
Yeah. Well, so Danny, the Gainesville Ripper, he was 6'2" tall.
Damn.
So he was a pretty tall guy, pretty big guy.
I'm 5'2".
Yeah, so he's a foot taller than you.
Literally.
I was about to make the comparison. It's like Penelope and Colin. But that is not what you want from this.
No, I don't. I want a Colin. Yeah, that'd be great.
Oh, I would love a Colin.
Would love me one of him.
I would love a Colin. Give me one of those Collins.
Hell yeah.
I'll take him.
I'll take one without question.
What's on the menu, Colin? All right.
Colin Bridgerton? Yes, please.
Yes, please.
One of hims.
Anyway, so even though he's a really big guy, he thought it was smart to commit petty thefts and crimes for 20 years.
You know?
He was so that made him in and out of the criminal justice systems, and not one.
Yeah, you're a fucking giant trying to, like, snatch shit.
Just wait. He was in the criminal justice systems of not one, not two, not three, but 4 different states.
Yep.
Louisiana, Mississippi, Georgia, and Alabama.
Yeah. You're a fucking giant trying to do petty theft.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you think you ain't gonna get caught?
Yeah. Right. He then broke out of multiple prisons.
You know.
He got fired all the time, and he quit just as many jobs.
You know, that sounds about right.
But I don't understand how he landed these jobs in the first place.
You know, sometimes, I don't know what it is about, it depends on the type of jobs that he's pulling, but it's also like, sometimes certain serial killers have I guess it would be called charisma. It's like a type of charisma about them.
Yeah.
I mean, shit.
An unfortunate version.
I can't remember if it was Gacy.
No, you're thinking of Ted Bundy.
It was who babysitted children.
Oh.
I think I'm thinking of Gacy.
That's Gacy. Well, I don't know if he babysat, but I definitely know he did like clown shows and stuff.
Yeah, but I think he also. I'm not 100% certain. I listen to true crime, but I listen to a lot of true crime. So all of my serial killers get mixed up a little bit sometimes.
Yeah.
But I know for a fact. I think it was Gacy because people trusted him around children, so they would let him babysit.
I believe that
children.
You'll never catch me not doing
a background check,
extensive background check on anyone who was watching my children.
I mean, my brother has I don't know if they have a nanny anymore, but they did have a nanny, and they
extensive background check.
They usually do background checks. You do background checks and stuff.
Like you all the time hear like, oh, the baby just fell asleep and they passed away.
Yeah. Well,
I gave them Tylenol and they just.
Well, I mean, the first one does
happen.
actually
I know
happen.
they happen, but there are some situations where it's like it was entirely the babysitter's fault.
Yes.
And that is a nightmare.
Yeah.
Nightmare. Nightmare fuel.
Yeah.
Whew. Okay, so back in Louisiana during this time of larceny and theft and things. No, I'm just kidding.
Grand Theft Auto.
Grand Theft Auto and murder sprees galore. No.
You know.
No, just petty theft and crime.
Yeah.
But during that time of petty theft and crime, there was a family. The bodies of 3 victims were found in Shreveport, Louisiana. One was 24-year-old Julie Grissom, her father, Tom, and her nephew, 8-year-old Sean. They were all killed around the time Danny lost his job and returned home in vengeance.
Yeah.
So, he returned home because he tried to kill his father by shooting him.
Yeah.
His father lived, but he lost his eye and his ear. So, like, boom. How do you miss that badly?
How do you miss that bad?
How do you miss that
He
bad?
must have come at him at like a serious fucking
Angle. Yeah.
to miss that
That
badly. Like,
Ooh.
I get the rage that he had because he's killing his abuser,
Yeah.
but also you already fucked up, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're just a murderer at this point. Like, yes, there's the added he was your abuser, but you're also just a serial killer.
Although you never really hear about that, like them going back to
A couple
people.
times.
A couple,
it's
but
very
it's not,
rare, and
It's very rare because it's usually just like
well, because sometimes the abusers are actually the mothers.
yeah,
But
Yeah.
the sons are so attached
yeah,
to the mothers that they worship them. I mean,
and they just kill people who remind them of their mom.
who the fuck was it that made nipple belts? And
Ed Gein.
Ed
Ed
Gein.
Gein.
Thank you,
Ed
Ed
Gein.
Gein. I remember hearing about the fact that because he was obsessive with his mother.
Yes. Yep.
To the point where he would be out in the graveyard and be shouting at his mother's grave for her to just wake up.
Yes,
And I'm just like, yeah,
that is true.
yeah,
We listened to that one together, I think.
yeah.
Yeah.
Man pounced around his house in a booby
I'm sorry, it's not
Bra?
funny, but it's
and he real gross. He pranced around his home with like a nipple belt and a booby harness and fucking it's just wild shit. He had a skin lamp. This man is fucking chaos. Chaos. Serial killers, they're fucking wild, man.
fucking wild. So obviously, after he tried to kill his father and
Failed.
fucked it up, Danny changed his identity and ran away to Florida,
Because that's how that works.
as you do, starting his new life as Michael Kennedy Jr. So, on August 24th of 1990, Danny broke into the home of 2 freshmen from the University of Florida, which I got accepted to. I just didn't go. Which is now, I think they're saying it's like an Ivy League. And I'm like, what?
I don't know.
Okay, sure. Sorry, I just wanted to throw that out there real quick. I'm kind of smart.
Kind of.
I'm not. I'm book smart. I'm nothing else. Nothing else. All right.
So she needs me to be street smart.
It's true. It's true. So we have Sonia Larson and Christina Powell. These were the 2 freshman girls. He followed them home, broke in, and murdered them. And I'm also going to give a graphic warning because it gets gross.
It's Gold Star. All right. We're also a murder and a horror podcast. So
I'm just
you know.
saying, we do spoiler warnings. Might as well do
Yeah.
graphic warnings if you
Yeah.
don't want to hear
Yeah.
it. So, just skip a little bit forward. So, Rolling covered both of the young women's mouths with duct tape. He bound their hands. He forced one of the girls to perform oral sex on him before he raped, stabbed, and killed her. He then returned to Sonia's dead body,
Yeah.
raped her again,
Yeah.
and then Rolling went so far as to cut off the girl's nipples.
Why is it always the nipples?
I don't know. And kept one as a trophy. So,
Why is it always nipples?
I don't know.
See, he's okay. For serial killers, there's a difference between, so they refer to them as either process killers or product killers.
Mm-hmm.
So process killers enjoy the process of killing.
Yeah.
So they kill slowly, they torture, and then once the body is dead and cold, they don't care about it. Whereas,
and that is the killer I would be
terrified to meet.
so terrified. Like,
Whereas a product killer doesn't really care about the process of killing, just wants the body afterwards.
yeah.
Or whatever it can provide them with. So some of them, so I would probably put him in the product
Probably.
more than the process, because it seemed like he kills and then has a focus, at least to some degree, on the body afterwards. So
And we'll get into that in this next one.
yeah.
Again, graphic. So the next day, he did the same to Krista Hoyt. He broke into her home, raped her, removed her nipples, cut off her head, put it on the bookshelf, and sat her body upright on the edge of the bed.
Wild.
What the fuck?
Wild.
And I remember seeing an image of this. Like, it's ingrained in my brain forever. It's terrifying.
It's the wonder of, like, why on the bookshelf? Why did you sit it up on the bed? What was that? What was the purpose? What was the thought process behind that?
I don't know. And what's crazy to me,
And unfortunately, sometimes we won't even know. Which is what's even worse sometimes.
and what's crazy to me is they pulled this shit in Vampire Diaries when Stefan would, like, kill people. He would put their bodies back together and then sit them upright as if they were fine. And then we all act like that's normal. It's not, guys. That's not normal. That is fucked up. That's fucked up.
Because that was when he was in his frenzies and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. I remember that. Yeah. You can't feel pity afterwards.
No. However, he was compelled.
Well, yeah.
Don't matter. That's fucked up because he did that even when he wasn't.
Yeah.
And he had a list of bodies.
Yeah.
A list on the wall. Oh, okay. Anyway. So, after these murders, news obviously spread across the campus, which caused students to sleep in groups. And then they also just tried to take as many precautions as they could. So, students brought baseball bats with them wherever they went.
Yeah.
No one went out alone. Students would triple lock their doors.
Yeah.
And they even slept in shifts.
Yeah.
So there was no one that was like,
Not awake that could alert everybody.
yeah. Yeah. Also, classes were canceled for like a week.
Yeah. To keep students away from the campus. Yeah.
However, 3 days after his first attack, he then killed Manuel Taboada while he slept, then Tracy Paulez. So Danny was not able to mutilate their bodies, and people think that's likely because he was afraid of getting caught,
Yeah.
because everyone was so on edge
Yeah. Everyone was so alert. Yeah.
at this point, so he just killed them and then dipped.
Yeah.
So he had only killed 5 people, which is a lot in 4 days.
And more than 3 makes you a serial killer.
Yeah.
3 or more makes you a serial killer.
So, at the end of August, because this was like right when classes started.
Yeah.
Like, these freshmen are fresh.
Yeah.
This is beginning of the semester.
Yeah.
So at the end of August, thousands of students left, and over 700 never came back.
Yeah. Out of fear.
Yeah. Gainesville, not a huge town.
No.
Like, each of these murders happened like 2 miles apart from each other.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Obviously, now there are memorials all across the UF campus. They have 5 trees planted and to honor the victims, and I think they even have a mural reminding the students, like, never forget.
Yeah.
That type of stuff.
Yeah.
So, police never gathered enough evidence at the crime scenes to implicate him.
Shocker.
Instead of leaving the duct tape on the dead bodies, Danny would dispose of them in dumpsters to get rid of any fingerprints. And then he also used cleaning solvents on the dead bodies to remove any traces of semen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, 2 weeks after all of this, only 2 weeks, Mr. Danny Boy continued to steal and was wanted for the robbery of a Winn-Dixie.
You know, sometimes, I'm not going to lie to you, sometimes these serial killers are caught
ballsy.
caught for the silliest, dumbest shit because it's the only thing that they can catch them on.
Yeah. But at this point, they didn't know he was the Ripper yet.
Yeah.
But remember the murders I was talking about in Shreveport, Louisiana earlier?
Mm-hmm.
There were similarities between those murders and these murders.
Yeah.
So investigators were able to get the DNA from both.
And compare them.
Yeah, so they got DNA from prisoners from Shreveport who were incarcerated. And then Danny Rolling's DNA was similar enough to DNA left at the Gainesville murder scenes to charge him with murder.
Yeah, yeah.
So, they got him. Danny confessed. Prosecutors found more than enough evidence to convict him, and which he was sentenced to death in October 25th of 2026.
Yeah.
So, 16 years after he killed those people.
Yep.
16 years.
Yep, yep.
So, that is the dude who really inspired Scream, which is so meta.
Yeah.
So meta. And they know it is. They
Which
know.
explains the idea that they originally wanted to focus it around college students.
Yeah.
But
so,
it swapped to high school.
Yeah, they swapped it to high school because they were still able to give that feel.
Yeah. It was
of like small
students,
town student type.
The social climate of students. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And the original title of the movie was supposed to be Scary Movie.
Yes. They were going to call it Scary Movie.
Uh-huh.
And he hated it.
Which, good. I hate it too. Because Scary Movie now is like a
Scary
parody.
Movie is the parody version of them, and they're not good.
They're so bad. I hate them so much.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, that's the story of the Gainesville Ripper.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff.
Hell yeah.
He's insane.
Oh, yeah. And we've had plenty of serial killers that are prolific and profound in many different ways.
But yeah, if I were to encounter a serial killer, I would want it to be the product, not at all the process. Yeah. And I was just talking to this about my family. Like, we were all talking about our fears and stuff. And I was like, a painful death. A slow and painful death.
Yeah.
That is it. That is my only fear. Thank you.
Quick and painless. Okay, thanks.
That's all I want. That's all I want. Because people are afraid of things.
Yeah.
Because of, like, usually death or loneliness or pain.
Yeah.
Like, those three things.
Yeah.
That's why. That's it. Usually. I'm trying to think if there's something else.
About what? Like
why people have fears. And it's all rooted in, like, the same things. It's, like, death, pain, or just, like, being alone.
Yeah.
Being by yourself.
I would add the unknown.
Yeah.
Because that's different than being alone.
Yeah.
It is more about the unknown, the beyond.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Which also ties into death.
Yeah.
Because, like, no one knows.
But I feel like death is more associated with, like, personal death versus, like, the concept.
Yeah.
Whereas mine is the concept of death versus the actual death. Mine is the concept. Which sucks. But, like, the unknown can be space. It can be the ocean.
Yeah.
Things like that. Like dark spaces, things like that. So, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So that is, like, my fear. I would hate... If you're a process killer, do not come for me. I have people. Who will fuck you up.
Hi, I'm people.
That is people. There are more people, but...
And I'm a scarier people than you think.
It's true. It's true. You don't want to fuck with this one. Or just either of us. Don't do it.
Yeah.
We both have people.
But non-serial killer based fear.
Non-serial killer based fear?
Non-serial killer based fear. So mine is non-serial killer based.
Oh.
Mine's not based on like me being killed or getting killed.
It's not even really about the killing part. It's just like having slow, painful torture. I don't want that. Get it away. Because you know me and my body horror. And my dad was like, I'm not afraid of that because at some point your body shuts down. I was like, okay, I don't want to feel the pain.
So for
period.
you don't like, your fear is body horror.
Mm-hmm.
That's
don't
what
gut
you would
me
say.
open. Don't
Well, it's not
slice
even
my
just
arms
you.
off.
It's not
don't
based on
touch
just
me.
you.
Don't touch me.
It's not just based on you. It's all based on like also visuals and like that kind of side of it. Like seeing.
Not really. Because when I see it, it's not me. Or someone I care about.
The same person who hyped up Texas Chainsaw
Okay,
Massacre
because
so
I was
hard.
envisioning myself in that situation.
Yes, because
that is why it's scary.
you have a body horror
yes.
issue.
Yeah.
Which is why all of those do actually affect you. So if you visually saw it happening, you would see yourself in that situation.
Yes. Yeah.
That's what I mean.
I
It's like the doll thing for me.
Mm.
Dolls make me deeply uncomfortable. It's changed a little bit over time, but still. But yeah.
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 I don't like it. Don't want it. Don't get it near me. I just want to pass away in my sleep when I'm really old. Thank you.
Yeah.
But that's what everyone wants. Yeah.
Yeah. Alrighty. Is that your notes?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm going to get into the synopsis and then we'll get into the 1 stars.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So this is the synopsis for Scream 2. Sydney and tabloid reporter Gale Weathers
Of course.
survive the events of the first film, Scream. But their nightmare isn't over when 2 college students are murdered at a sneak preview of Stab, a movie based on the events of the first film. It's clear a copycat killer is on the loose. Sydney and Gale, as well as fellow survivors, Deputy Dewey and Randy, have to find out who is behind this new murder spree before they all end up dead.
Whoa.
Yeah. So now, in the Scream series, there are a series of movies inside the Scream movies called Stab that are based on the Scream movies. Do you get the irony?
Where the Scream movies are based on the Gainesville Ripper.
So,
Meta.
yeah. So this is for Scream 3. Which is weird the way that they put this because I think that they thought this and then it proved wrong. The last installment in the Scream trilogy is set in Hollywood, where Stab 3 is being shot.
Oh, the last installment. Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess they thought
Yeah.
it's never going to go on.
Well, it did.
They were wrong.
With Gale Weathers and Dwight Riley on set as advisors to Jennifer Jolie.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, a killer decides to off the cast in the order of the screenplay, and only Sid Prescott, now in hiding until the killer tracks her down, can solve the riddle.
Bum, bum, bum.
Bum, ba, ba.
If you haven't watched these movies,
You really should.
gotta watch them.
They're actually really good.
You gotta watch them. I know for a damn sure I'm gonna be cozying up with my flannels and my pumpkins around me and my cinnamon scented candles, and I'm gonna be watching this movie when it's fall time.
Some caramel popcorn
Mm-hmm.
and like a
I knew the minute you went like this, I knew what that meant.
caramel popcorn and some like a pumpkin spice something.
Ooh. Yes.
Yes.
AC cranked all the way down.
Yes.
Cuddling with my cat.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Alrighty. So Scream 4.
Yes.
It has been many years since the Ghostface killer cut a deadly path through the town of Woodsboro. In order to get over the trauma of those horrific events, Sydney Prescott has written a self-help book. She returns to Woodsboro for her book tour and reconnects with old friends Gale Weathers and Sheriff Dewey.
Sure, friends.
However, Sydney's arrival also sparks the return of Ghostface,
Whoa, shocker.
putting Sydney and everyone she loves in danger.
I will say, after like movie 3, I was a little over it. But then it was good. It was good.
Well, number 4 has characters that are important in number 6.
Yes. Yeah.
And I didn't know that until I'd already watched the movie and was like, who the fuck is that? Anyway. And this one's very short for Scream 5.
Yes.
25 years after a streak of brutal murders shocked the quiet town of Woodsboro, California.
2021?
A new serial killer dons the ghost-faced mask and begins targeting a group of teenagers to resurrect secrets from the town's deadly past.
This one was good.
Good as shit. The new movies were very, 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 very
They're
good.
very good.
Alrighty, so those are little synopsises.
Mm-hmm.
You got some 1 stars for me?
I do. Okay. Again, I'm only going to read bits and pieces of each one.
Go for it.
Because it's not worth all of my breath. Anyway. This movie was awful. And so many people gave it a 10. It's the typical slasher movie. A guy calls a girl and asks her what her favorite scary movie is. She hangs up on him. And then her parents find her dead. Hung up in a tree covered with blood. Okie dokie. Spelled just like that.
God damn it.
Okie dokie. All right. So I asked every friend I hang out with regularly, about 10 people.
Outed yourself.
Yes. They all agreed that this was the single lamest movie they had ever seen. Take my advice, see the Blair Witch Project. That movie scared the crap out of me. But be warned, you have to have at least a hint of imagination to like it. The people who hate it are pitiful without any imagination at all.
I'm sorry, you are pitiful because you have no imagination because you didn't like this movie.
Right.
If you have to preface the Blair Witch Project with you have to have imagination, you need to shut the fuck up. What the fuck? You're going to shit on this movie and be like, but you know this other movie? Hey, you have to give it a little bit of imagination.
Like, hey, you got to be open-minded about it.
You have to be open-minded about it. And if you're not open-minded about it,
it's going to suck. Fuck you. It's going to suck, but it doesn't. Okay? Yeah.
Hi. Eat your own words. Fucking stupid. You literally shat in your own mouth by saying it. What? Like,
oh my God.
This is a great ass movie. I know we still have we have Blair Witch on our list of stuff to watch, but I mean, also, fear is subjective.
Yeah.
Literally, what one person thinks is scary, the other does not. You may not be a slasher kid. I am chill with slashers. They don't really affect me, but as we've heard, it affects Lily very much.
What up?
Whereas spooky ghost shit really fucks me up sometimes. Where it really doesn't do that to Lily.
No, it doesn't.
So
I don't really know. It just depends on the person.
So the point is you can't really shit on something just because it ain't your thing. Because it's a good ass movie. It's a good ass movie.
Yes. Whew. All right. So this next one. Scream, yawn more like.
Jesus Christ.
I thought that was a good one. It made me giggle. I have to say I was seriously underwhelmed by this movie, though possibly more than I would otherwise have been had there not been so much hype about how wonderful it was. What a fucking mouthful.
I know. I was about to say, what the fuck? Can you repeat that sentence? Because it sounds like how I've been. The bin. The bin. The bin. The bin. The bin.
Yes,
the bin.
Yes. Literally.
Get in the bin. Okay, thanks.
So the first sequence with Drew Barrymore was very well done and would have made a good short film. But the whole "aren't I cool having all the characters in my horror movie talking about horror movies" thing got very old very fast.
Literally the point of the movies. But whatever.
It literally is. That's the whole entire
It's
plot.
literally an important pivotal character in every single one of the movies, but whatever.
However, I was more put off by the "we're making a movie for teenagers, so you must make sure we explain everything very clearly so everyone knows what's going on" approach to the script. For the first half hour or so, it seemed like we'd get a couple of minutes of plot, then an exposition break as some character had to explain to some other character exactly why they disliked them or what their personal problems were or whatever. Dull, dull, dull.
Hi, have you been to high school?
Right?
It's all about someone else saying, okay, here's reasons why fuck this person. Like, and then talking to that person and being like, hey, yeah, what's up?
Hey.
Yeah. It's fucking high school. What do you expect?
In the end, I gave up and watched the last half on fast forward. If you have to watch the last half on fast forward.
Also, what do you consider the last half
Right.
of an almost 2-hour long movie? Because that would be an hour if you were to say the last half. Because it's half of the movie. Or did you literally just get to the last 30 minutes where all the shit is happening and just fast forwarded through all of the climactic shit?
It gets better.
Oh, no. Okay.
I don't even know what this next two sentences are, but it makes it seem like they were writing this like through a voice thing to like speak it into the thing.
Yeah.
Found out who the director was and then said more stuff. Because it goes, so that's who did it. Well, ho-hum.
What? The fuck?
Shame. I really liked Wes Craven's first Nightmare on Elm Street movie. And the last half of The Last House on the Left is pretty much unforgettable.
Okay.
Ho-hum. Ho-hum.
Who the fuck are you? What?
A giant who lives in the sky, apparently.
Clearly.
FIFO 5 pump, I guess.
Ho-hum.
Ho-hum.
Fee-fi, ho-hum.
Ho-hum.
Oh, fuck.
Oh my
Who
god.
the fuck says ho-hum? That guy.
This guy.
Apparently.
Scream, yawn more like ho-hum.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my god. Oh my god. No, yeah. That's great. Okay, well, then there's this next one that basically just goes on to be like, all of my friends told me I should watch this movie and that I would never guess who the killers are. Well, I watched it, and the second I saw Sydney's boyfriend come through the window looking like he just gone through hell, that was the dead giveaway. Who was the killer? And then they were like, I'll admit it took me a little while to realize that Matt Lillard was the accomplice, but with the way he was always bashing the rules, it became obvious.
I mean, that's kind of the point.
It is kind of the point.
You're literally.
You're really supposed to think that it's Skeet, and then
Yeah, literally.
the twist is really like, oh, Stu is in on it.
Yeah. Because throughout the whole
he
thing,
looks sketchy as fuck.
he looks sketchy, but there's not really a overt moment where you're like, oh, fuck, he might be involved.
Yeah. There's not.
You really are like, nah,
So
Billy is it. Like, the second, literally the point is from that window scene, from that point on, you are supposed to peg Billy.
Yeah, and no one else. And that's why I think you're lying when you said it took you a little bit. I think it took you until the very last scene when he finally was like, I was in on it, bitch.
Yeah, when he uses the voice thing.
So, but yeah.
Or at least when he's coming up trying to beg for the gun. Because that's like, nah, you full shit.
Right. No, give me the gun. Give me. It's him. It's.
Swear.
Right, sure. Okay, dude. It's Randy. Okay, Stu. Sit down.
I know, right?
Sit down.
I would have done the same thing. I'm closing this door on both of y'all fuckers.
No,
Bye.
yeah, Sydney was smart. But she opened the door right up to Billy.
Yeah, she did.
Both doors. What?
Also, how the fuck you gonna shut the door on the dude whose house it is? Like he can't find
Like
another
he
way
doesn't
in.
have a key or know any of the entrances or
I
exits.
know, right?
Like, hello. If anyone, like, I would have guessed it was Stu just based on the way he was running through the house as well.
Yeah.
Because she went around, like, a certain corner, and I was like, all right, she's gone. But she wasn't. Stu came right at her,
Yeah.
like, from another corner.
Yeah.
And I would never have known
Yeah.
that way around the house, but he did, so.
But yeah.
Anyway,
That's it.
That's Scream for ya.
Alrighty. So, there's a reason we only did 2 through 5, and that's because next week is Scream 6.
Woo!
Our lovely Scream 6. Such a good movie.
So if you listen to this, go watch all of them.
Yeah.
In between now and then. Because why not?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Because why not?
Hell yeah.
They're good. They're good.
Yeah.
It might not be fall time, but you can still make hot cocoa with caramel popcorn and a
Yes.
flannel blanket with your cat and
Fuck yeah.
light some candles and say it's
Ooh,
Halloween.
Make some fucking chai tea and just sit your ass down and get some steak and potatoes. Fuck yeah. Sorry.
We've gone off of fall and now we're just talking about good foods.
Look, a good steak with potatoes and a good drink.
But mashed potatoes, no
spooky
skin
yeah.
for this one.
Mashed potatoes with like steak juice in it.
Mm.
And put on a scary movie and that shit's good.
With asparagus, don't forget.
I like
Or broccoli.
I'd go for broccoli.
I think I might go for asparagus.
Like
I think I'm an asparagus
like
girl.
butter and garlic.
I love both. But for that, it takes me back to the Disney day when we went to Bell's Castle.
Oh,
That's why I say asparagus.
Yeah.
Asparagus.
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 Yes.
You can't say broccoli in a funny way, can you? Broccoli.
Broccoli.
Broccoli. No, it's
Chopping broccoli. Chopping broccoli.
Anyway,
Anyway, we got holy shit. Can you tell? Can you tell? Anyway. How about you send us an email about your favorite movies and or favorite dishes? Because fuck it. Why not? That was not planned.
It never is.
You can send
Well,
it at,
actually, I lie. Every day in our intro.
well, our intro's intentional, but every other time, no.
No.
Anyway, send us an email at horrorunmasked@gmail.com.
Or don't. Up to you.
Or don't, up to you. Say, for real. But
Warning.
we do request like, comment, and subscribe, and 2 5-star
Because if you don't do that, Ghostface coming for you.
you know, you know.
We've already said how scary we can. No, I'm just kidding.
There are 2 of us anyway.
Whoa. That's wild.
Yo, we could totally do a Billy and a fucking
Stew.
stew.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah, we could.
Mm-hmm. Who's who?
You know who you are. You know who you are.
All my giggles this entire fucking episode.
Because you know who I am.
You really hurt me, man. I don't think you were
I
supposed
think
to
you
go
stabbed me
that
too
deep.
Oh, my parents are gonna be so mad at me.
What? Because you
murdered people.
you murdered people?
Yeah,
I think so.
that's what happens.
He's sitting there dying, and that's what he's worried about.
You know.
All right. To each their own.
You know. Alrighty. Follow us. Instagram, Twitter, X. I'm gonna always say it like that because fuck that nonsense. Anyway, but I gotta
Twitter,
say X for
X.
fucking everybody else. Anyway,
Twitter, X. I just like the way you said it.
yeah. At Horror Unmasked, and you can listen to us on Spotify, iTunes, Amazon Music, Audible, Pandora, and YouTube at Horror Unmasked Podcast.
Woo.
And I think with that,
There's only one thing left to ask. Will you fear?
or will you fear not?